Hello, thank you so much for tuning in. We've put this film together today because we recognise that the letter that we have sent to families is really lengthy and it contains a huge amount of information. We're very aware that some of that information is quite hard to get your head around, and we've done our very best to make it as meaningful as possible. But this film is really to supplement that letter and just to go through some of the key points. Not everything is included in this film, and you will need to refer to the letter, but we felt that a film might just help to have some of the key pieces of information to share with you. So the letter we have sent out to families about our return to school looks like this, and in it the most important thing we'd like to do is to say we are really looking forward to welcoming you and your family back to school in September. The first day of term for children will be the 7th of September. And what we've been doing over the last week since the government published its guidance is going through that guidance with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that we have covered every possible eventuality for keeping your children safe at school. We are really clear that what the government is asking us to do is to ensure that our school is open full-time for your children to be able to attend. And we have done everything in our power to make school as safe as it can possibly be. We're really aware that some of our children haven't been back to school since March, and there'll be a lot of new things for them to get their heads around. But what we can tell you and reassure you is that those children who have been back to school have been really happy. Our systems and policies have worked really smoothly, and school is a very happy place to be. So school will feel different. There will be bubbles in school, and you'll have heard that term in the news. Our bubbles will be the entire class. The purpose of the bubbles is so that in the event of there being a case of COVID, we are able to shut down parts of the school as and when we need to, and we'll be following the latest guidance and working with the local authority in the event of that happening. So please don't be concerned. The theory behind the bubble is that children stay together in those groups and we minimise the amount of contact those groups have together in school. So we have one-way systems in place around our school building, one-way systems in place for you to drop your children off at school safely. We have toilets that have been assigned to particular groups of children. We have a field zoned so that bubbles don't come into contact with each other. And all of those things will sound very strange if your children haven't been in school. But for the children who have been in school, it is an entirely natural system to work in now. And the children aren't at all concerned about working in that way. When the children come into their classrooms, they also will look different. They'll still be bright and colourful and vibrant, but the desks will be arranged so that the children are facing the front, and that the amount of contact children have with each other across the desk is kept to a minimum. But we know that children are children and they will talk to each other, and so we will ensure that the children feel as safe and that things are as normal as possible when they're in the classroom. We are going to ask the children to bring their own pencil case to school, and as a family, if you are able to stock that pencil case with lots of goodies, that would also be absolutely terrific, because that will help us with our resourcing. We are aiming that children don't share the same resources, so all their goodies in their pencil case they will use themselves. The pencil cases will be kept at school, and it just prevents children passing pieces of equipment to one another. All of the things that we are doing are designed to minimise the cross-contamination. So the children will sit in the same seat at all times, the desks will be wiped down as regularly as possible, the toilets will be cleaned as regularly as possible during the day. The children will be encouraged to have really good personal hygiene. We will wash hands when the children arrive at school and at lots of opportunities during the school day, as you would be doing at home anyway. We will be encouraging the children to use tissues, to catch it, and then to bin it when they have finished, and those bins will be emptied regularly as well. Obviously, if your child is poorly, please do not send them to school. The letter we have sent has a huge amount of guidance about what to do in the event of a child displaying symptoms, and indeed any member of your family displaying symptoms. So please do read that letter carefully. The children, when they come back to school, will feel as though they haven't been here for some time, and we will be investing a lot in the well-being of our children. We will have a full back to school programme. We want the children to reconnect with each other. We want the children to reconnect with our staff, and we need to invest time in order to be able to do that. So we'll be having our usual back to school, get to know you sessions. As parents, we know that school will feel strange to you. We are saying that parents cannot come onto our school site. So when you drop your children at school, you will be dropping them at the playground gates. Again, in the letter, there is a set of protocol about what happens at the beginning and the end of the school day. You will be given a specific time to be able to drop your children off at school, and we ask you to really be respectful towards that time. The path will be busy, so we will need to drop children, and parents carry on their way through our one-way system, following our fish as you move through the playgrounds. But we also really value you. We value working in partnership with you, and it's really important to us that you don't feel that we're pushing you away, because we really aren't. In the first couple of weeks of term, we're going to have an informal cuppa and chat session with every family, which will be carried out via Zoom. We'll contact you about that in September to let you know how that's going to work. And the reason we're having those reconnection meetings is because we know you will have found out a lot about your child and how your child learns. You may have concerns about things that you found out about your child, or things that you really want us to know that you've discovered that they're really brilliant at. We just want to know how this time has been for you, so that we can set out to meet your children's needs as best as we can. And then shortly after half term, we'll have our usual learning review meetings, which may be done remotely, but we will review our guidance at that point to see whether we can welcome you into school. We want to be able to connect with you regularly, but we do know that you cannot come into the school site, have conversations with our staff in the way that you normally would. So we ask you, if you would like to speak to staff, to let us know, and we can telephone you at the end of the day. Please do feel free to use our class email addresses, and staff will get back to you in a timely manner. Lots of you will have questions about wraparound care and around after school clubs. This is really tricky. We know that as much as possible we're trying to reduce the amount of movement between bubbles, but we also recognise that as families you need to get back to some sort of normality and be able to go back to work. So we are operating a no frills approach. So we will have provision for wraparound care from our new partner CCs. And I'm working with them as I speak to put into place some protocols that we will share with you about how we keep children safe and minimise the movement between children in bubbles. But we do intend to have wraparound care, which is great news. We won't be running other after school clubs, which we think of at the moment as non-essential. So things like judo and karate and any of the other staff-led clubs that we have in school, sadly, we are saying we won't be facilitating happening, at least in the first half term after the summer holidays. We will review that though, and it might be that after half term we're in a position to start operating those clubs. The important thing at the moment is that we set out to do everything that we can to minimise the risks associated with having everybody back in school. We will have hot lunches available. Children in Key Stage 1 will be able to continue to have their free hot lunch. Children in Key Stage 2, we will ask you to order your lunches in the same way as usual. They will no longer be free, I'm afraid, and we will be reverting back to the normal ways of payment for those things. I think that is everything that I wanted to mention to you today. Please do read the letter. There is a lot more information, particularly in relation to how to drop your children off at school and how to collect them safely. So please don't watch this and feel that every question has been answered in this 10-minute film. It is important that you still refer to the letter, but we also felt really strongly that the letter itself is 7 pages long, and we're aware that is a huge ask and there's an awful lot of information. You may well have more questions, and please feel really free to drop me an email or phone the school, and we'll be delighted to provide any additional answers that we can at this stage. The final thing that I want to say is that right at the beginning of September, when we come back to school for our 2 inset days, we will be in touch with you again. And we will send you a presentation that you will be able to share with your children. It will have photographs in it of their classrooms and their teachers. It will have little pieces of information about what they can bring to school and what they can't bring to school, but it will be designed for them so that you can share it with them, and hopefully it will address some of the concerns that they may have, and certainly give you a platform on which to talk to them about anything that they're worried about. And if anything comes up through that, please don't hesitate to let us know. The last of our learning letters are being published for next week. I just want to say a huge thank you to those of you at home for the tremendous work that you have done with your children. It has been incredible. Thank you for engaging with us via Seesaw. It's been such a valuable way of connecting with you and seeing the things that you've been up to. We know what a tricky time it has been for everybody, but we also know that we have pulled together as a team. Families at home have been supporting the work that we've been setting for the children to do at home. We just want to say thank you for that. We know that this time has not been easy, but we are really grateful to you for all the support that you have offered both the children at home, the children who've been coming to school, and the lovely messages of thanks that you have been sending to our staff, which have been a huge encouragement. We cannot wait until the 7th of September when we have the children back in school, and we really make a pledge to you that we will hold their well-being at the very heart of our approach. And we will set out to do all that we can to support them as learners, to build their confidence, to build their love of learning, and to come back together as a community in the very best way that we can to support each and every one of our children and their families too. We hope that you have a lovely summer holiday. We hope that some change in routine will mean that you're able to enjoy some time together in a slightly different way, and we really very much look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye bye.